Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am here to present to you our research entitled Content Analysis of Life Science Investigatory Projects in the Division of Cavite Province, Basis for Technical Assistance. My co-researchers are Dr. Riza D. Soberano and Dr. Salvador A. Espineli. Science is an indispensable discipline in the development of the world. The National Economic and Development Authority presents science research as a discipline that lays the foundation of efficiency, productivity, and innovation in the society. Research endeavors in the sciences led to the formulation of significant concepts, principles, and theories which modern technology demands. This importance is seen in the utilization of knowledge and application of scientific method in the improvement of priority and advanced fields by Sanchez and Rosaroro in 2019. The science research goals are cascaded down to the basic education level. The national research goals are entrenched in the basic education research agenda by the Department of Education, particularly in teaching and learning program. In basic education, community contextualization and performance-based assessments make science research possible to be conducted by elementary and high school students through Science Investigatory Projects or SIPs. Although several in-service trainings or INSET and capability workshops both for students and research advisors were conducted in the Division of Cavite, these issues still found to be persistent in the research manuscripts presented during the annual science fair. This implies that the mentioned training and workshops do not directly address the need of student researchers and research advisors. This study finds answer to the following questions. Number 1. What is the percentage of the submitted research papers which comply the INTEL ISEF guidelines in terms of the following: research title, research abstract, introduction, review of related literature, materials and methods, results and discussion, summary, conclusion and recommendations, literature cited or bibliography, research ethics, and forms. Second, what is the percentage of the submitted research papers which did not comply the INTEL ISEF guidelines in terms of the following: research title, research abstract, introduction, review of related literature, materials and methods, results and discussion, summary, conclusion and recommendations, literature cited or bibliography, research ethics, and forms. And lastly, what is the percentage of the submitted research papers which completely satisfy the INTEL ISEF guidelines? The primary purpose of this study is to evaluate the Science Investigatory Projects or SIPs in the Division of Cavite. The focus of the evaluation is to determine the strengths and weaknesses of the researchers based on the guidelines stipulated in the INTEL ISEF rules. The said SIPs were submitted entries for the SIP competition Life Science category during the 2019 Division Festival of Talents in Science in the Division of Cavite Province. In this study, 37 research manuscripts under Life Science category from all levels, both for individual and team categories, were evaluated. The strengths and weaknesses of the researchers were determined using a validated researcher-made tool that determines whether or not the research satisfies those prescribed in the INTEL ISEF guidelines. Content analysis of the research paper using the tool focused only on whether the research satisfied the guidelines for each research paper component. The extent of how the research satisfied these guidelines is not part of this study. For the methodology, this mixed method study used the 49 items researcher-made checklist based on the 2019-2020 INTEL ISEF guidelines. The compliance of a total of 37 submitted life science investigatory projects as entries during the 2019 Division Festival of Talents in Science with the 2019-2020 INTEL ISEF guidelines was determined. For the results and discussion, in elementary level, out of 8 or 100% submitted SIPs, consolidated results show that 40% complied with the INTEL ISEF guidelines in writing the research ethics, followed by research forms, abstract and statement of the problem with 30% compliance. On the other hand, 100% of the scope and limitations, review of related studies, summary, and literature cited had the least number of compliance among the SIPs, followed by the title, which is 90%. In junior high school life science, results show that 78.95% of the submitted SIPs complied with the INTEL ISEF guidelines in writing the background of the study and research ethics, significance of the study, which is 73.38%. Statement of the problem is 63.16%. Materials and methods, 42.11%. Most number of non-compliance were noted in review of related literature and literature cited references, 100%, followed by scope and limitations and research forms, which is 94.74%, and writing the title, 89.47% respectively. In senior high school level, results revealed that the title, background of the study, statement of the problem and significance of the study, and materials and method, which is 100%, were the most complied research part based on INTEL ISEF guidelines, followed by abstract, result and discussion, and literature cited references, which is 87.50%. And lastly, research ethics, 75%. On contrary, scope and limitation and research forms, which is 62.50%, have the least number of compliances among the SIPs, followed by summary, conclusion, and recommendation, 50%. Review of related literature, 37.50%, and lastly, research ethics, which is 25%. In all the three levels, results show that 100% of the submitted SIPs did not completely satisfy the INTEL ISEF guidelines. So therefore, based on the results of the study, Science Investigatory Projects, Life Science category within the province of Cavite, only senior high school level were excellent in terms of the content and were able to comply with the INTEL ISEF guidelines with a high percentage of excellence. On the other hand, majority of the research paper component in elementary and junior high school levels in terms of content, did not completely satisfy the INTEL ISEF guidelines. Thank you for listening. This is Dr. Maribel R. Villanueva.